Welcome to the Real Time. I'm Yahezequiel Walker, your host, and good evening, everyone. Very excited about tonight's topic because it's something that I used to be very passionate about, and then kind of got really off of due to some much understandable trauma that I believe much of us have experienced. So we're going to talk about voting. Woo! Yeah, voting. Isn't that exciting, everyone? Yeah, I know you're just excited as I am. So let's get right up into this shit. We have finally reached the beginning of summer. The birds are chirping, grass is just a little bit greener, and no matter where you go, whether you're at Washington Park, Findlay Market, or even the banks, there's no doubt in my mind there will be people in khaki shorts with clipboards asking if you're registered to vote in Hamilton County. Hopefully, after this episode, I will have encouraged you all to take a moment and say yes next time they approach you. But before that, here are some stories from the last couple of weeks. A few days ago, YouTube announced they were going to backpedal on a policy change from 2020, stating that any video publishing false information claiming voter fraud in past elections would be taken down. That is no longer the case. And even though their reasoning is basically so people will argue about it online instead of Congress, we can't help but to think this is a prime opportunity for us to take all the wildest claims we can possibly think of. So, apparently, sources say Biden won the 2020 elections by allowing children in ICE internment camps to cast absentee ballots. Wow. Whew, heartbreaking. Or, I did see this one article. Crowd heard chanting, "Stole the vote! Stole the vote!" outside of the 76ers practice facility Monday. Sources claims influx in flights from Denver. Shout out to the real MVP, Nikola Jokic. This is my favorite. Donald Trump quotes himself in trial stating, "See what I say here? It defends me." Proceeds to not be able to find video and plays incriminating video of self-committing voter fraud. Honestly, that might have been a terrible example. I'm not 100% certain that the last one isn't true. Well, in British Columbia this week, bakery owner Emma Irvine was found surprised by a break-in alarm. After watching the video, she was surprised with what she found. The man walked in, had a glass of water, sat for an hour, and had about half before taking 6 cupcakes. He was not a rude guest, though. During his time, he did try to clean up the glass he broke entering through the front door. Unfortunately, the mop wasn't the tool he needed for that job. Shout out to that guy. He really was just trying to get some cupcakes and be a really, really good guest, but they weren't open. We've all heard about the controversy surrounding NBA star Ja Morant, about an incident where, for a second time, has gone under fire for showing a firearm on Instagram Live. Even though this has happened almost a month ago, the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, has stayed relatively silent until the past few days, where he announced that due to the NBA Finals, they were going to wait to announce the decision that they have made out of respect for the teams that are competing. This has turned out to be a fairly dramatic offseason, even with 2 of the stalest organizations being in the finals matchup. The Ja Morant punishment is likely to be the most important decision made in NBA history since LeBron James took his talents to South Beach. This year is an extremely crucial year for Cincinnati voters to actually make their presence known in the booths. I usually am not the spokesperson for voting, and now I realize that this is because of the trauma that I had. Sorry. You're good.
Yeah, restart it again,
This year is an extremely crucial year for Cincinnati voters to actually make their presence known in the booths. I usually am not the spokesperson for voting, And now I realize that this is because of the trauma I experienced being an avid Bernie Sanders supporter. See, in 2016, I admittedly was feeling the burn. I was completely enveloped in helping socialism not being a scary term of propaganda, but a term to simply explain a system in which we use in various parts of government that help keep the ball rolling. I was totally down with actually taxing the rich and having them pay their fair share. I was so excited to have someone in the highest office who was going to put climate change as an actual issue to deal with rather than just some bullshit talking point. And what happened? Bernie was fucking crushing it and beating the dog shit out of Hillary in the primaries. And the Democratic Party completely thwarted and undermined his entire movement. Why? To get their person in there. To get arguably one of the best politicians to ever exist, but also one of the biggest threats to the American people, as they represent everything we hate about corporations having such an unfair advantage over us. Hillary Rodham Clinton. That shit hurt. To see the party that you believed had your best interests in mind, then go turn their back on the people was a very tough cookie for me to swallow. And honestly, turned me away from the entire political process. Then, in 2020, don't get me started on how Biden and the Democratic Party completely thwarted the Me Too movement in order to help him win the Democratic nomination. Just sick on sick has been made. I'm gonna clap that part. Just sick on sick has made it hard for me to care about being an active part of the political process, as I know it has done the same to countless others. Until now. It's time for us to deal with the trauma head on and actually engage these issues that real life affect us. That brings us to our topic today. We are going to go over 3 pieces of legislation that we will be responsible for going out and voting to make an actual difference. So if you're a citizen of Ohio, specifically this applies to you. Dig this. The Ohio right to make reproductive decisions, including abortion initiative, may appear on the ballot in Ohio as an initiated constitutional amendment on November 7th, 2023. The ballot initiative would provide that each individual has the right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions, included but not limited to decisions regarding contraception, fertility treatment, continuing one's own pregnancy, miscarriage care, and abortion. This measure would provide that the state of Ohio cannot penalize, discriminate, or interfere with an individual's exercising of this right, and that the state of Ohio may regulate abortion after fetal viability unless it is necessary to protect the life or health of the pregnant patient. Now, this isn't the perfect legislation for reproductive rights, but this at least does give some rights back to women. These measures will give Ohio the right to stop abortions after a fetus has developed a heartbeat, unless it causes a health risk. Now, I know y'all, this fucking sucks. The reason we even have to begin to create these laws is because of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. So Ohio said no to abortion as soon as that happened. We are now responsible for helping create legislation to help women get as many possible rights as we can. That means even voting for measures where we don't totally agree with everything. The cool thing is, we can always build up from here. I never used to believe that, but this is something that is actually very, very true. That you have to start somewhere. Start with a solid foundation, and then let's just build up from there. The Ohio Constitutional and Legal Rights Relating to Public Safety Initiative may appear on the ballot in Ohio as initiated constitutional amendment on November 7th, 2023. The ballot initiative would provide policies when state and local governments violate an individual's constitution constitutional and legal rights when it relates to public safety. This is a huge deal. When you first read it, it almost seems like it would be protecting those committing constitutional rights violations, but it actually quite the opposite. This bill will protect those who have had their rights violated and even has a section on preventative measures. I cannot stress enough the importance of voting for this measure. The truth is that most officers in Ohio are severely undertrained and lack the actual understanding of law needed to responsibly do their job. They often misuse their power, but also ignorantly and unlawfully detain people for genuine lack of understanding of the law. This is absolutely unacceptable for a sector of government in which we the people pay for, but find ourselves at their mercy far too often. This isn't only going to positively affect Black, Indigenous, and people of color, but every color and creed of people in Ohio. We all have had bogus traffic violations. We'll finally be able to hold officers accountable for mishandling very simple interactions. Not voting for this is truly a crime against your goddamn self. You want to say fuck the police and I want to have rights against the police? Well, you gotta go and actually vote November 7th, 2023 for this measure, because now you actually can take these pigs to court. The Ohio Marijuana Legalization Initiative may appear on the ballot in Ohio as an indirected initiated state statute on November 7th, 2023. November 7th, 2023. The initiative was designed to enact a state law to legalize the cultivation, processing, sale, purchase, possession, home growth of recreational marijuana for adults 21 years of age or older. Under this measure, adults would be authorized to possess up to 2.5 ounces of cannabis and up to 15 grams of marijuana concentrates. And individuals would also be able to grow up to 6 marijuana plants at home or up to 6 plants per household. The initiative was also designed to enact a 10% cannabis tax rate on adult use sales and dedicate revenue to fund a cannabis social equity and jobs program to provide financial assistance and license application support to individuals most directly and adversely impacted by enforcement of marijuana-related laws. The Division of Cannabis Control would be established under this measure, which is designed to license, regulate, and penalize cannabis operators and facilities. Y'all, this is not a fucking drill. This is the actual fucking one. For those who may not know, I am extremely passionate about cannabis. Many of my family members have been unfairly incarcerated for being cannabis entrepreneurs ahead of their time, incarcerated providing their families for giving healing to the community. Now we get to see people who demonize folks for smoking and selling cannabis make the most off of cannabis. That shit is so disrespectful and such a spit in our fucking faces. This is now an opportunity for us to truly get a slice of the pie. 4 households is 48 plants in vegetation and 12 plants in flowering. Let's just say if some people were maybe interested in creating supplementary income, in theory, several households could create a small network of premium craft medicine and get full control on their community's cannabis market. Remember, this is all theoretical, because guess what? All this sound cute and jolly unless y'all get y'all asses up and fucking vote. That shit is sick and tired. Are you tired of being sick and tired? That shit is truly out of here. It's time for us to act, or the whole fucking time we've been capping. If you are not willing to just register to go and vote for a measure to have women have fucking rights, you not willing to take time to register to go and make sure that when you get your ass pulled over by the motherfucking police, that you as an American citizen have full access to your rights and they can't just handle you however the fuck they want to handle you. Y'all do not want to go and just be able to freely grow medicine and healing herbs that all of us should have been able to grow forever? Things that actually have scientific properties to help so many litany of medical issues, and we're not allowed to just grow that ourselves? And then you get to see people making millions of dollars for us to go have to pay in Ohio $150 to $250 for a medical card? What? When most of our family members have motherfucking been locked up for a goddamn dime bag in the fucking 90s? The fuck? All of this shit should really enrage everyone to just go and register to vote right motherfucking now. It's very easy to register. You can go on ohio.gov and you can literally register online. You can go to the Cincinnati Public Library, any of your libraries, and you can register to vote at your local public library. You can head your ass down to Findlay Market on Sunday. Go and get you some cookies from Mama's Vegan Cookies. Go ahead and go to my favorite spot, Madison's. Go and get you some fresh greens, get you some mushrooms. Go on to ETC, get you some good ass produce. Go to Harmony Food, get you some good ass vegan food. Finish it off at Sen, get you some nice fish. And guess what? When you walk your ass up out there, make sure you register to vote. Because it is what it is. Good night, America.